What's going on, NFL fans? Welcome back to Touchdown Kingdom, your hub for the freshest NFL updates and insights. If you love what we're doing here, show us some support by hitting the like button, dropping your predictions in the comments, and subscribing to the channel. We're committed to bringing you engaging content like this on a regular basis. Today, we're spotlighting the NFC West, a division where two teams made the playoffs and two teams were at the bottom of the league in win totals. The future of each of these teams is interesting because there are many different directions they can go, especially at the quarterback position. Over the last 15 years, this division has had 3 teams go to the Super Bowl and 2 winners. So while they are used to success, it is pivotal within the next 2 years for most of these teams to decide what direction they're going. The sponsor of today's video is BetUS. If you haven't heard of BetUS, they are one of the leading platforms for online betting, offering a wide range of sports betting and casino games. They have an incredible variety of betting options on a ton of different sports. You can do so much on BetUS, including pregame bets, parlays, live bets, and player prop bets. BetUS is offering a 125% sign-up bonus when you click the link in the description. For any questions, check out any of the BetUS customer support options through live chat, email, and phone support. So visit BetUS, sign up using the link in the description, and start betting on your favorite sports and games. We'll start today with the Arizona Cardinals. Currently, they are seen as one of the worst teams in the NFL by many around the league and are expected to pick very highly in next year's draft. A big move they made this offseason was the addition of new head coach Jonathan Gannon, who comes as the Eagles' defensive coordinator that led a top 5 defense to a Super Bowl appearance last season. After having an offensive-minded head coach in Cliff Kingsbury, it's safe to assume the front office brought Gannon in to help their lackluster defense of recent years. Their franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray tore his ACL last season, and it's unsure of when he will return during the season, and if he does return during the first half of the season, will it be enough to make a push for the playoffs? Last season, their defense allowed the 3rd most points in the NFL, and then they allowed their 2 biggest free agents on defense in Zach Allen and Byron Murphy to walk. While they added 2nd-round pick edge rusher BJ Ojulari and 3rd-round pick and cornerback Garrett Williams through the draft, talent-wise, they're still near the bottom of the league in talent, and it would take a coaching masterclass for them to become an above-average unit in 2023. Offensively, they added the best O-lineman in the draft at 6th overall with Paris Johnson and Stanford wide receiver Michael Wilson in the 3rd round, who could be a good starting receiver for them. However, the biggest move they made this offseason was more of who they didn't get when they traded the 3rd overall pick to the Texans. In this trade, the Cardinals essentially gave up the draft rights to Alabama edge rusher Will Anderson Jr. for the 12th pick, the 33rd pick, and the Texans' 1st round and 3rd round pick next year. Using the 12th and the 33rd pick, the Cardinals move up to pick 6 to select previously mentioned Paris Johnson Jr., and with the Texans' 1st rounder next year, the Cardinals now have 2 picks next year that are projected to be in the top 5. Cardinals fans may not be going into this season with high expectations, and they shouldn't, but they should be happy that the team is acknowledging that they are not in a position to compete and building for the future by trading for future picks and not rushing Kyler Murray back into the lineup. The Cardinals may not win the division, but they are building for the future, and if their young players can improve over the course of the season, they can put themselves in a good situation going into the 2024 season. The second team we'll be going over is the Los Angeles Rams. In 2021, the Rams won the Super Bowl, and going into 2022, were seen as a team that would surely make the playoffs. However, it all seemed to go wrong. Last season, the Rams finished with a record of 5-12, with all of their star players suffering injuries throughout the season. Even before Kupp, Stafford, and Aaron Donald suffered injuries that would sideline them for the rest of the season, they had only won 3 games. And to put it bluntly, the Rams didn't have a good offseason. They traded away Jalen Ramsey and made no good free agent signings, but lost safeties in Taylor Rapp and Nick Scott and corner Troy Hill. They didn't have any 1st-round picks, but spent their 2nd rounder on guard Steve Avila out of TCU, and in the 3rd, selected Byron Young. The rest of the draft was filled with depth pieces with 11 picks after round 3. For better or for worse, it seems that the Rams are running it back with a healthy Stafford, Kupp, and Aaron Donald. However, the rest of the roster does not have near as much talent as it did in 2021, including the losses of Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, and Bobby Wagner this offseason. If this season does not go smoothly with Stafford running the helm, it's likely going to be blown up next offseason as they look to move forward with a younger roster. The Rams are in an odd position this season, and if Stafford and Cooper Kupp don't bring this team to the playoffs, we may be seeing an entirely different Rams core going into 2024. The third team we'll be going over is the San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off an NFC Championship berth off the back of Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy in his rookie season. The 49ers had the best defense last season, and the 6th best offense. Their roster is so incredibly talented at every position group, and if Brock Purdy, or any other starting quarterback for that matter, plays at a relatively high level, they have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, and are already the second favorite in the NFC behind the Philadelphia Eagles, who they suffered their most recent loss to in the NFC Championship game. They had some key losses this offseason, including defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans, who is going to be the Texans head coach, tackle Mike McGlinchey, and a couple of important defenders, including Jimmy Ward, Samson Ebukam, Emmanuel Mosley, and Azeez Al-Shaair. Despite losing these pieces, the 49ers still have depth on defense, especially with their free agent addition of interior D lineman Javon Hargrave from the Eagles. Hargrave is one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the NFL, who had 11 sacks last season. The question marks on the defense are if their new defensive coordinator Steve Wilks from the Panthers will be able to run the defense as well as DeMeco did, and if the loss of some of their depth pieces will hurt them in the long run. On offense, the 49ers still have some of the best talent in the entire NFL, including wide receivers Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings, running backs Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell, George Kittle at tight end, and Trent Williams and Aaron Banks on the O-line. The three quarterbacks trying to get playing time are Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and Brock Purdy. If Purdy is able to play at full strength by week 1, the job is his. But many still want to see Trey Lance get a chance, as he is going into his 3rd season with only 5 games started his entire career after the 49ers traded a ton of assets to select him. Overall, if Steve Wilks is able to keep the defense playing at a top 5 level, the 49ers don't need one of their quarterbacks to be a superstar. But if Brock Purdy is able to command the offense and limit turnovers, their ceiling is a Super Bowl trophy. The Seattle Seahawks are going to be a fun team in 2023. Their offense is going to be absolutely explosive, and they have enough young pieces on the defensive side that can help turn it around from a bottom-tier unit in 2022. Last season, they finished with the 9th best offense in points scored and the 8th worst defense in points allowed, sliding them into the playoffs through the wild card with a record of 9-8. Before the 2022 season, the Seahawks were looked at as a bottom feeder team because of a weak defense and Geno Smith as their starting quarterback. And while their defense was still a bottom 10 unit, Geno Smith played like a top 10 quarterback, throwing 4,200 yards and 30 touchdowns with only 11 interceptions. Almost all of the Seahawks' young players outperformed expectations last season, including rookie tackles Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross, who protected Geno Smith very well, and running back Kenneth Walker, who was not the most consistent back, but had some incredibly long runs. Players who outperformed expectations on defense included 5th-round rookie Tariq Woolen, who had an incredible season, tying for the league lead in picks and was in the run for Defensive Rookie of the Year in an extremely talented class. Going forward, Woolen should consistently be looked at as a ball hawk corner, and if he improves on some of his coverage tendencies, he can be one of the best corners in the league, with his freakish athleticism and size. This offseason, all they did is improve. They didn't lose much talent in free agency, and they added a slew of it, including safety Julian Love, and they brought back Bobby Wagner after letting him spend 1 year on the Rams. They also had one of the best drafts in the NFL, adding physical cornerback Devin Witherspoon with the Broncos' 5th overall pick they received through the Russ trade, and the best receiver in the draft, Jackson Smith-Njigba, with their own pick at 20. Witherspoon should be a great plug-and-play corner immediately, and a great pairing with other young corners including Tariq Woolen, Michael Jackson, and Kobe Bryant. JSN will be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL one day, and letting him work the middle of the field with Lockett and DK on the outside will lead to one of the best wide receiver rooms in the entire NFL. Two other important selections came in the second round when they selected edge rusher Derek Hall from Auburn and running back Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. Hall helps boost their pass rushing, and Charbonnet will be the bruising power running back inside the tackles for the Seahawks, which will be a great complement to Kenneth Walker's outside running ability. The Seahawks are not a team that will be looked over by anyone going into 2023, and if Geno Smith can continue playing as well as he did last year or better, they can make a run in the playoffs. The additions of talent on both offense and defense should allow them to stay at a top 10 offense, and if they can improve to an above league average defense, this young team could be dangerous. And now it's time for our record predictions. Unsurprisingly, in last place we have the Cardinals at 4-13. While they won't be looking to make anything special happen this season, they should rest Kyler Murray until he is fully ready to return and look to make a splash next offseason to surround him with more talent on the offensive side of the ball. In third place, we have the Los Angeles Rams at 7-10. The Rams still have some great players in Stafford, Kupp, and Donald when healthy, but around them is not much, and for them to perform better than the 7-10 record, Stafford and Kupp will need to repeat their 2021 performances. In second place, we have the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are going to be extremely fun to watch, finishing with a record of 11-6. Pete Carroll will feel young again watching Geno Smith throw dimes to their star-studded wide receiver room and watching Tariq Woolen, Quandre Diggs, and Devin Witherspoon blanket receivers. The Seahawks do have a chance to make a playoff run if Geno Smith plays as well as he did in 2022. In first place, we have the San Francisco 49ers with a record of 13-4. Frankly, as long as their quarterback room plays average at best, they will still be the second favorite to win the conference. The 49ers are so talented at every position group and are in a great position to make a run in a weak conference. The NFC West has teams in all different situations, and if you agreed or disagreed with what we said today, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you're a fan of these teams, what did we get right and what did we get wrong? Stay tuned for more exciting content coming your way. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you for being a part of our Touchdown Kingdom family. We'll see you in the next one.